Welcome back to Trimming the Musical Fat, the podcast where we trim albums that are too damn long. Today we're continuing our 90 from the 90s series where we pick our favourite 90s albums with a look at Stone Temple Pilots' sophomore album, Purple, released in 1994. So, if you've never heard about the Stone Temple Pilots before, let me give you a brief history. So, Stone Temple Pilots, often abbreviated as STP, formed in San Diego, California in 1989, and the original lineup featured Scott Weiland on vocals, Dean DeLeo on guitar, Robert DeLeo on bass, and Eric Kretz on drums. They broke through with their debut album Core in 1992, riding the wave of the grunge movement, but carving out their own identity with a mix of hard rock riffs and melodic hooks. Despite early criticism for sounding similar to other grunge acts, STP quickly proved they had their own voice, blending alternative rock with classic rock influences. By the time Purple arrived in June 1994, the band had cemented themselves as one of the era's biggest acts, selling millions of records and earning a reputation for dynamic live performances.
Vasoline we are, sometimes it blows my mind, keep getting stuck here all the time, leaving a southern train only yesterday, I said to you, the second album.
So the album Purple was released on June 7th, 1994, and it was a critical and commercial success, debuting at number 1 on the Billboard 200 and selling over 6 million copies in the US alone. The album showcased a band evolving beyond grunge, incorporating psychedelic touches, bluesy undertones, and even country influences. Purple is often hailed as the Stone Temple Pilots' finest work. It balances raw energy with polished songwriting, offering variety without losing cohesion. Critics praised its maturity compared to Core, noting the band's willingness to experiment while maintaining accessibility. So for me, I wasn't really a Stone Temple Pilots fan when Purple came out. I had bought the Sex Type Thing CD single when it was originally released, and subsequently a friend of mine, John Pollington, gave me a copy of the Core album, and I loved Sex Type Thing and Plush from it. The rest was okay to me. However, it's worth noting now that I have since changed my tune on the album. I now think it's really good, and I procured the most recently released coloured vinyl version of it just to prove I've changed my mind. So anyway, jump to 1994. I bought the first single from Purple, which was Vasoline. Great song. I then bought Purple on CD the day it came out, and I thought it was brilliant. I still do. The album's production, handled by Brendan O'Brien, gave it a warm, layered sound that stood out from the heavier, more abrasive tones of early 90s grunge, and it's a brilliant sounding album. Lyrically, Scott Weiland explored themes of isolation, addiction and longing, topics that would become more pronounced in later works. But, you know, when it comes down to it, it's just full of great songs which don't outstay their welcome. And let me highlight 4 tracks to you that are worth checking out. The first is Vasoline, which is the first single, and it's a punchy, riff-driven opener that became a radio staple. Check out also Interstate Love Song, which is the album's second single, and it's perhaps STP's most iconic track, blending heartfelt lyrics with soaring melodies. Great song. Another one worth checking out is Big Empty, which originally featured on the Crow soundtrack. And this track very much set the tone for the album's introspective vibe. And the last one I'm going to highlight is Unglued, which just might be my favourite track on the album. It's a very Nirvana-esque heavy rocker that rattles along at breakneck speed. Absolutely love it. And I was fortunate enough to see the band tour the Purple album. I seen them at the Glasgow Barrowlands in, I think it was must have been 1994. And I have to say, it's one of the best gigs I ever went to. I mean, the band kind of done a hard rock set, if you like, for the first third, then did an acoustic set, which is really good. They brought out a couch and done a couple of acoustic numbers. Then they went into the final act there with the guitars plugged in again there, and it was honestly, it's such a good show. I absolutely loved it. One of the best I've ever been to. So if you haven't revisited Purple in a while, now's the perfect time, and you can stream the album on all major platforms, so the likes of Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music and YouTube Music. So yeah, cue it up, turn it up loud, and immerse yourself in one of the defining albums of the 90s. So thanks for listening to Trimming the Musical Fat. Don't forget to subscribe, share and leave a review. Until next time, keep trimming.